Well, howdy ho there, folks. Today we're going to be doing another Wheel of Warhammer. So today I think we're gonna spin a wheel. We're gonna spin a big wheel. So let's see what happens when we spin the wheel. Come on, big money, no whammies, big money, no whammies, big money, no whammies. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Tzeentch, huh? Interesting. Very magic-y. Alrighty, Reenie Rooney. So we ended up going with Kairos Fate Weaver because there was only two options. One was the dude with three arms going, "Oh, I could change faces," and the other one was a big burb. And I happen to like Big Burb. I thought Big Burb was fun. I will also say that out of all the Chaos Gods, I think Tzeentch is probably the one I vibe with overall the most. I just think that the magic and all that stuff is cool, and all the weird stuff about like controlling fate and all that's kind of cool, and like woobly woobly mystical stuff. That's fun. I also think that's kind of fun because, you know, one of the main teachings of the Buddha is that things are always changing. There's nothing that is permanent, and like I don't know. I just kind of vibe with the idea of like just being this ever-changing force in the universe. That's kind of fun. Um, really I also kind of like this combination that I sometimes done with my old Chaos Space Marine Warband of like Tzeentch and Slaanesh, because I kind of like the idea of like the pursuit of knowledge becoming something that someone almost becomes like addicted to and like really wants to like focus on. Um, Nurgle is probably my least favorite. Khorne is okay. I think. I mean, honestly, I don't like love any of them, but the closest I come to like having a better relationship with, I think, is Tzeentch. I think Tzeentch is also has like some of the more interesting looking like greater demons and things like that, and some of the weird demon stuff is kind of fun. I do think that pink horrors and blue horrors and brimstone horrors all look really silly. I don't know if they're supposed to look so silly, but they just kind of look silly, and I'm kind of down with that. I kind of enjoy silly things. You know, I go, hey, clap for silly things. Don't you want to clap for silly things? Clap, 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 clap. I do. Clap silly. But yeah, I would definitely say that this campaign, nothing about it particularly stood out. I played for a little under 2 hours. Um, And as I was playing, I was enjoying that I was blowing up Nurgle people, because Nurgle is probably the Chaos God that I don't know. It's like this whole thing where like Nurgle's all about like this idea of like giving up and embracing futility and embracing decay, which on one level I kind of understand that, but like when that's the entire thing you got going, it's just kind of not that interesting to me. And it's also just like, you know, once again, Tzeentch is like a twisted version of hope, but at least there's hope, and there's like the ability to change and move on and things like that. Slaanesh, I honestly almost just don't even get, because like half of the time when they're offering you some kind of weird pleasure, it's just not. It's just weird, or it's just an overindulgence. Like, hey, I like food, but you know what? I'm not going to eat an entire bucket of popcorn shrimp to please my god, because, well, I like popcorn shrimp, so we have to take it into excess. And it's like, I'm just not. I don't know. Excess by itself is not actually that interesting. If anything, that kind of just reminds me of Donald Trump, where every time I listen to him talk, it sounds like he really likes talking about the size of things for some reason. It's really odd. Or the amount and things like that. In terms of the actual campaign, it's kind of interesting. You're at, I think Antarctica is South Pole. Yeah, Antarctica is South Pole. So you're basically at Fantasy World Antarctica. You're going around, for the most part, fighting other chaos things, at least at first. There were Tzeentch guys to my left, Nurgle guys to my right, and then more. And then after that, there were Slaanesh people after that. And then there was also a Beastman that I ended up killing because they kept getting really close to my cities and started raiding. Like, okay, well, yeah. But then these guys showed up. And these guys were a lot harder to deal with, I think. They were far more annoying. However, we did end up eventually getting over there and kicking his butt. It was kind of weird the way we ended up doing it, too, because essentially what happened was they were pushing east and taking some of my cities, and I was building a secondary army to try and kind of halt them a little bit, and I was moving Kairos back over there. And the first time I did that fight, just straight up died because for some reason, no matter what we got, it was like valiant defeat. So I was like, okay, well here, maybe we'll try something a little different. And I reloaded it, and I just kept both armies in one city. And for some reason, when they came, we got a Pyrrhic victory. And then after that, they were just super easy to defeat. And I'm not 100% sure what I actually killed to make that happen. I do think that Kairos Fate Weaver's thing is kind of weird, because I don't really understand. Is it that he, like, how far in the future is he seeing? Or because if he has the past and the future, but it's quote-unquote blind to the present, like, how far back is he seeing? How far forward is he seeing? Because in that case, if he exists for long enough, shouldn't he already know everything that's going to happen if he can actually accurately see the future? Shouldn't he just know what's happening? I don't know. Whatever. I will say it was kind of funny. Almost every time Kairos started talking, it was like way slower than you'd think it would be. Like he was just drawing out like every syllable, which is kind of interesting. I did also. This is like one of my first actual Chaos campaigns. Besides that one time I played Beastman for a little bit, and it was good. The one thing that was kind of fun was that I got random mutations, and one of my guys just got a face on his chest that was whispering weird arcane secrets to him. And that was kind of cool. That was kind of neat. Had a face friend. Then we cut off the face, so then we had face off. And then, I decided that he was Nicolas Cage. And everything worked out in the end. So that's good. I think when I started to play around with the, like, you can force rebellions or, like, force settlement transfers or do weird things like that, it was kind of fun. One thing that got really annoying was that I got a cult started and it was all the way up here. And as the game went on, every time it was like, okay, now here's the turn, it would take me way up here. And if I was down there focusing, because I was, in Antarctica, mostly doing everything down there, it would then come back up here and it would make me like, oh no, someone's moving near you up here. So then I had to go all the way back up here and look. It's like, I don't really want to do that. That was a little annoying, but not really that big of a deal. In terms of what I would say, if I was going to give this campaign, at least a little bit I played, a rating, maybe like a 6 out of 10. It's probably one of the most tolerable Chaos factions to me. But it's just, I still, well, actually here, let's fast forward to, oops. Yep. Yeah, I think this will show one of the things I was talking about here in a second. But yeah, probably maybe 6 out of 10. I didn't hate it. And honestly, for a Chaos campaign, I think that's saying a lot. But I'm really not big into things like slavery, for instance. So like if it's a faction that is like slave focused, I think I would have a harder time. And it was kind of interesting to see, because I got this valiant defeat, but I didn't lose my generals. So what we ended up doing is we ended up killing a lot of this guy's support, killing a lot of his friends, and then kind of pushing him back, so that now after this we could just chase him, and it was like really easy to kill him. And then after that they had like no other armies, so he just kept pushing west, and it was really easy. But yeah, I don't know. I gotta like sit down and like really think about the systems and like how I would rate all of these things. I think for these guys in particular, though, like I said, they're pretty tolerable. And if I was gonna put them in a letter tier, I'd probably put them in like C tier. They're fine. Probably one of the more fun Chaos factions. One of the factions I like more. Maybe low B tier, depending on how exactly you play them. Because you do get to have some fun looking units. I mean, like, look at that sorcerer. That sorcerer looks a lot cooler than a regular Chaos sorcerer. And I do have a soft spot for Tzeentch. I think almost every other faction in terms of Chaos is a lot harder for me to vibe with. But yeah, I like it. Not too bad, not too great. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope that you all have a great one, and I hope that you know that I love you and God loves you, and bye-bye, I love you, bye. Have a great one, bye.